Yo, 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 hey everybody. Welcome to Shop Talk with me, your humble host, Doug Munro. Hey, just inviting some folks here to come and check us out. Right. And I'm done. And it worked. Thank you, Albert Rivera. Okay, let's see if I can get this little thing working here. Enter, parent. Let's go down here again. Try this again. Okay, come over here. Oops, go over there. Go. Hey, George, how are you? Trying to get my, still trying to get some bugs worked out here. There you go. All right, good. Okay. So we are happening here. Okay, and let me just flip back to my other screen. Good. Boom. Okay. It's a beautiful thing. And welcome, everybody. And tonight on Shop Talk, we're going to take a look at my loop pedal. And if you're not familiar with what a loop pedal does, I'm sure that most of you that are going to watch George, I'm sure that you know what's up. And just in case, while people are logging on and stuff, let me just do a quick demonstration of my looper. And then I'm going to talk about, what I'm using, how I'm using it, what I'm doing, and answer any of your questions. But first, let's try this. That was a crummy take on the chords. I'm going to try it again. Here we go, a little better this time. Yeah, all right. So there you go, my little looper demonstration there. And let's take a look down here. I'm going to switch screens here. Let's see. So here's the equipment I'm using. So this here is a Boss RX 20XL RC20XL loop station, and it's got a whole bunch of knobs and such on there. And let's just go through them, and I'll show you what I use and what I don't use. So on the top, on the left, you see it says level, and that is the level of the loop. So I usually have that set. Well, I'll show you the stuff I have on the floor, but I usually have that set at about 9 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock. The guide, I never use that. That's off. They have a loop quantize setting. I don't do that. The phrase select, that's for storing your loops, and I also don't use that. My son Eugene, when he used the loop pedal, he used that a lot, where he would make loops and then take them out on the gig, and he'd have looks like you could have up to 11 loops, and and call them up and use them. Next are the inputs. There's a mic input and an instrument input, and obviously I use the instrument input, and that I do have set right like it is there at 12 o'clock, and that seems to work good. The second row of buttons there, you see reverse, and that's really that's actually kind of cool. I can demonstrate that real quickly here. That whatever you record, you can play backwards. All right, and it gives you some cool effects. Let's see if I can come up with something cool here. Let's see. Let's try this. So there you have this little loop. Now I'm going to do it backwards. There you go. Kind of sounds like a squeeze box or something, So that's what the backwards thing does, that sort of psychedelic, trippy kind of stuff. There's a tap tempo that I, again, never use. I guess that you could, and I guess the tap tempo would work somehow with the guide as a loop kind of quantizer. I'm not sure how that would really work that well in a live situation, but there it is. And next, those center buttons, that all has to do with writing and saving to the 11, phrases that you can save. Next is an auto start, and I have no idea how to work that. I've never used that, or stop mode. And the modes where it says stop mode, if you click those, you could see where you could have it on instrument and mic, normal, center cancel, flat amp, simulate. Mine is always on instrument and mic. And let's see, I also have the back of it where you plug your stuff in. And you can see there's an AC adapter, the output that goes out to your amp. The inputs, obviously, are self-explanatory. That's where the guitar goes in. And there you could actually, oh, look at that. You could have a pedal to trigger the reverse effect. That'd be kind of handy for live. And it looks like there's some other kind of phrase shift that you could do via some kind of external pedal. And that's basically it. That is the that's the looper. There you go. So that's my RC20XL looper. There's many, many, many kinds of loopers out there, different sizes, configurations. This is just basically the one that I have now. I used to have the big RC, whatever that was. Maybe it's the RC30 or something like that. But it's like 4 loop pedals in one. And it's awesome. It's really good. And I wasn't using it for a while, so I traded with my older son, Eugene, and I got his little looper, and he took the big looper, and he's out in Seattle. So that's where it stays, out in Seattle, and I have the little one here. There's another piece of equipment that I use, and if you have on headphones or you're playing through good speakers, you can hear that I have an octave pedal on. So this is without it, with it. So I'm getting an octave lower than my original sound. Now, the cool thing with the octave pedal that I'm using, and I'll show you the octave pedal, it's a Boss Super Octave OC3. And the cool thing about this pedal is you can dial in the frequency that you want to have your octave. And so if you see, I start here, I have octave up to G, A, B, C, D, E, ooh, almost gone, F. It's a little bit on G. By the time I get to G, it's really gone. So anything I play up here, there's no octave on it. It's all basically on the 6th and 5th string where I want it to be. So if I'm walking, you know, if I'm say I'm walking a blues in G, so it would be like this. See, so my bass is good, but my chords are not muddy. Cool, right? So the first time that I heard that was with a group I saw on YouTube. It was a guitar player, a drummer, and a cellist. And I assumed that the cellist would be playing the bass parts, you know, sort of like Dr. Lynn Christie, the bass player. He had a really tiny one. Let's see, Metal. Yeah, I need one of those so I don't have to keep filling out the low end in post. Yes, absolutely. You know, and I'll show you about it. So so again, I'm listening to this group, and the cellist is like the lead instrument. So there's no bass player, and I'm hearing bass all over the place. So I actually wrote the band. I wrote the guitar player, and I said, I know that you're playing bass while you're playing guitar, but how are you tracking that so it's not just doubling everything? And he's the one that wrote me back and said, you got to get this, the Super Octave OC3 by Boss. So let's take a look at that here. I'll show you a picture. Bam, there she is, Super Octave OC3. Yeah. And so it has the typical ins and outs. It has a guitar in, and it also has a bass in. And so if you really, you detune your guitar, so say Mr. Metal Bard, maybe you're doing some real sort of like detuned or 7-string stuff, and you really want that kind of low end, you can plug your guitar jack into the bass in, and it'll really respond well to the the lower actual frequencies. The output, I just always use the mono output. I guess the direct out you would use if you're going direct into a board, I guess. And then the knobs on the top are pretty self-explanatory, except for one. So the first is the direct signal level, and that obviously will be your guitar signal. If it's set at 12 o'clock, I'm guessing that that's supposed to be like laughs in C standard. The direct level, if it's straight up, I'm pretty sure that that's considered like unity gain. And then, you can dial in your octave level to the right of that. And so I actually have my direct level a little hotter than my octave level, not by much. Like, I think my direct level is kind of set at like 1230, like just a little bit past straight up and down, and the octave level is straight up and down. But it's the next knob, the range knob. Now, the knob all the way at the right, you can select poly, octave, or what's the other one? I can't, hold on. Oh, interesting. The other one is drive. So I guess that's like dirt sound, fuzz. But to me, the feature on this is that you go into poly mode, which is the one that's all the way to the right, the last knob, but turn it all the way to the right. And then the knob to the left of that where it says minimum and max, that is where you dial in how many strings on your guitar you want to, you want to have the bass sound on. And so for me, I have it set at 11 o'clock. And that seems to work good. Again, I guess there's no super like perfect way, but like, you can kind of hear that, it sort of starts to get a little real light, like once I get up to like G, you barely can hear it. So for me, I have it, it's kind of, I guess it's sort of subtle. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. Oh, and also I can actually show you what my floor thing looks like. Bam! So there's my little tiny setup, and look, I'm wearing actual shoes tonight. Usually when I live stream, I'm almost always wearing my LL Bean slippers. But tonight, look, I'm wearing shoes like a grown up. You could see. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually turn up the bass. So now I've got the bass like maybe 2 o'clock. So, yeah, see, to me, it's a little too loud for my taste. And I guess I can show you. Sorry that the camera keeps refocusing every time, like I bring something and it refocuses that camera. But say, for example, I don't know. That to me seems kind of loud. Another cool thing about the octave pedal is when you turn it off, there's actually a tiny dB gain in the guitar. So again, to me, that's a tiny bit. It's just that's a little loud to me. So I pretty much leave it where I had it at 12 o'clock. And again, I guess it also depends on where you're playing, what you're playing through. If I'm playing through my AER amp, that only has like a little 8-inch speaker. If that might even be a 6-inch. I think it's an 8-inch. Also, I'd need to get a better amp before I could use this. I'm still using that Vox Mini I sang with in class. Yeah, you'd have to get, oh, Jack. I forgot that was you. The Bard, I should have known. I got thrown off by the metal. But yeah, Jack, you'd have to get a better amp. There are a lot of people that split the signal out. So they have the direct out, which is the bass sound, and they actually run it like either in a different channel, or you could actually run it through a bass amp. And then you could really control it and, get the desired tones, that you want. Another thing that I've been getting hip to, again, that I sort of didn't really think about, but a lot of acoustic guitar players are using this also. And they just don't talk about it. It's just on their rig, and it's what they use, and it gives them a very broad palette, sonic palette for solo guitar. Especially the guys that they beat on their guitar and they do all this stuff, and then they have these nice deep bass tones. Which is awesome. It's cool. Yeah, let's see. He says, half the time I'm running into my audio interface. Yeah, at this point, but yeah. Well, that's what I'm actually tonight. That's what I'm doing. I'm not using an amp since I'm going solo tonight. I'm not playing with anybody. I'm just able to monitor through my headphones, and so I'm not using anything. I'm going into Logic. Yeah, Tommy Emmanuel for sure. Definitely will use the bass octave expander, and so I'm going through my Focusrite. I'm going into Logic, and in Logic I'm using a guitar amp sim. My favorite one right now is the Brown Tolex Fender amp. They call it Old Brown, and it's Fender had like the Tweed amps, and then the Brown Tolex, and then the black Tolex amps, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm using that, just a little bit of reverb, and obviously my microphone is through Logic, and it has a tiny bit of goo on it to make it sound a little better. And then out of Logic, I'm into OBS, and also I'm using Restream. So I'm streaming also on Facebook as well as YouTube, trying to reach as many people as possible. So now, how about if I just show how I use the looper, okay? Because the thing is that this is not a super expensive setup. The whole setup probably would run less than $400 to have like a pro level. Yay, Albert's here. I'm here from Facebook. Yeah, Albert, thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Albert Rivera, one of my bestest friends, and amazing saxophone player, band leader, educator, everything, life coach. And Albert really helps me with the technical end of this insanity. And so cool. Thanks, Albert. I'm glad you're here. So I'm gonna switch over now to the foot cam, and I'm going to show you how I use the looper in a live situation. So you have basically 3 pedals, and this is my that's my octave pedal. Oh yeah, George. Yeah. I should have said that. Albert, George Porto's here. Yeah, and so my bass pedal, and then here you have 2 pedals on here. So the pedal here, this is my record pedal, and it also, just think of this as sort of like record and on, and this is off and erase. That's the best way to think about it. On and a record and on, off and erase. And the really hard thing to do is making that loop. As Albert well knows, Albert and I have done a whole bunch of gigs together where it's just me and him. He's playing saxophone and I'm playing this exact rig where I have the guitar, I got the looper, and I got the octave pedal. And so I'll take an entire, he'll be blowing choruses, and so that gives me a chance to, to record. I'm recording the backing track while he's playing the head, taking a solo. I'm recording the backing track. And so the issues is to keep your time steady so that you don't start a loop and then when you get to the end and it loops around, it's half as fast as it was before or twice as fast, which sounds ridiculous. And the other thing is to make a smooth loop so that it doesn't sound, like it sounds seamless. And So that really, just like anything else, it just takes practice. You just got to practice, practice, practice. But I can show you how I do it and give you what little sort of tips that I can. But if we go back to the foot cam, so what I'm going to do is whenever I'm, going to make a loop, the coolest thing is if that I could already be playing. So I'm already playing. And then I can just jump in. Keeping it steady. Now I gotta make that connection. So, seems like it's okay. I'm at the same tempo, which is nice. And another thing too is I'm trying to get a nice balance between the bass and the chords, which I think it's kind of okay. Now, if I add in the melody, so now there, I hit the stop, and if I want to start again, it'll just start again. So obviously this is a whole chorus, but when we get to the end of the chorus, say I wanted to do like a little pickup into what I'm doing, right? I could just do this. So I'm able to try and use the loop creatively, where like it just doesn't have to be like it's on forever, or it's off forever. So it can be on or off, And so there's certain songs that I've done where if I'm playing solo, I just don't loop the whole tune because I just feel it's too long and boring for everybody to hear. So I kind of will play one part of the song. Every time it gets to that one part of the song, I'll stop the loop and just play that part of the song and then turn the loop on again and play the rest. So there's lots of ways to do stuff with the loop. Also, another important feature that the loop pedals have is that once you have something recorded, you can record over the top of it. All right. And so one of the things that I've sort of worked up over the years is this sort of like little riff thing that I can build up and play over an entire chorus. Now, when it loops around, it's just going to record again. So here we go. Okay, now here, this is great, because now here you get to see an error, all right? So what happened was, I think that when I hit record, the little record light didn't come on. So I'm going to start it again. And now if we were playing live, I just would have let it just kept going, and I wouldn't have done anything. And then I just would have hit it again and it would have done it. But since we're practicing here, so that didn't work. Sometimes you hit the pedals and this thing is old and it didn't connect. But now I'm going to try it again. I'm going to hit the pedal, see if the record light comes on. It says it's overdubbing, I hope. more time. So now I have all this stuff recorded, right? It's going nutty. Now say I want to get rid of it. If I hold down the record pedal, it's all going to go away. It takes a few seconds for it to go away, but it's going to go away. So I'm going to wait till it gets closer. Like now I'm close to the end of the chorus. So I'm going to try and get rid of it now. And it's gone. Now, when I'm done, I'm going to sound like I'm still doing the loop, but I'm not going to do the loop. I'm going to turn off the loop, and I'm just going to play the guitar part again, all right? And now, when I turn off the loop, I'm going to stand on this pedal because it's also going to erase the loop, and I'll talk about that. But now we're going to come around, and seamlessly, hopefully, I'm just going to pick up where the loop is. And I'm also erasing the loop. And there you go. So I sort of ended the loop seamlessly, and at the same time, I erased the loop. So erasing the loop, again, Albert can attest to this, is quite hysterical because there's many times that I don't erase the loop and I go to start the next song, I hit the pedal, and the old thing that I had recorded is still playing. So you have to remember to erase your loop from last time. So the best way to do that is when you get to the end of the song, whenever you come out of the loop, you just stand on the pedal. And as you hold it down, you see all the lights will flicker fast. Let me see if you can see that in this light. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It's so bright. But I'm just going to record. Okay, so there it is. Now, if I just stop, and we go to the next song, and I'm playing like, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm all set to record. Uh-oh. The other song was still there. So that's why you got to step on the pedal. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but all the lights are going to flicker when I hold the pedal. Let's see, I'm holding it. You can't really see it. But the lights flicker very fast, and you could see the tap tempo is gone, everything is gone, it's erased. So that's what you need, that's what you need to do. I need one of those for vocals. Oh yeah, without a doubt. Cyril Amy, check her out. Cyril, yeah, Cyril Amy, she uses that like crazy. And they make ones now that are actually, oh, here, let me change this so you could actually see me. They make ones now that are for vocalists. I mean, they're like you work them with your hands, you don't work them with your feet. And yeah, she does amazing things with a looper. Most people under 30, or I guess most people under 40 now, can like beatbox. So you can use a looper and set up a beat and just go to town. There you go. Yeah, I borrowed her looper for a weekend when she taught a class. Yeah, absolutely. So and I think they're good investments because the way the music business is now, even without COVID, just the idea of getting work for a quartet or a quintet is hard. It's much easier to get work for solo, duo, trio. And so if you can have these things to sort of like enhance what you're doing, but yet still have a sort of entertaining live show, I think it's really cool. Because I know that there are people that might think, well, why don't you just pre-record tracks and bring them out and just play along with the pre-recorded tracks? And to me, again, maybe because I'm older, it just feels like Disneyland. Like I can remember the first places I saw that, was like at Disneyland, where you'd see like these people out there and there's like this whole band and it's like one guy with a guitar and it's a whole band. And there was just some kind of like cheese factor to it. And so, I mean, I'm not judging it really. It's just for me personally, I just feel that when people come out and see me play and I'm using the looper, they still know that it's live and that I'm taking chances. That, I'm just not like hitting play and here we go and I'm just noodling on the guitar and now we're going to do another song, hit play and noodle. Let's see. I have sung with pre-recorded tracks and it feels like going to not bad karaoke. Yeah, more than a good show. It's true. It just is, So, so that's why I go through the trouble of doing this live. And the funny thing is that it's sort of entertaining in that if you hip the audience to what you're doing, you kind of get them on your side, cheering you on to not screw it up. And then when you do screw it up, it's just kind of funny that, this is what happens. It's live. It's got bumps, it's got bruises, it's got mistakes. And but it also has cool, exciting moments that you probably wouldn't get if you had your prepared tracks. It would just be the same thing. Maybe you would blow different on it or whatever. But I think for me, this gives a more rounded live experience to your audience. And the only technical advice I could give is what I give everybody is practice with a metronome. Get a really good metronomic sense. Get a great feel for what you're doing, and go for it. And another super important thing, and I talk about it all the time. I even talked about it here tonight. Is like levels. Tone. All the stuff that makes people like music. The groove, the feel. It's not. Most people don't come to music because it's like, oh, did you see how technical that was? Wow. He did an upside down Lydian scale. Ooh, most people, like, I love the sound of the guitar, or I love the sound of Jack's voice. We went out to the show because, like, man, nobody can sing like that cat. So that, like that I think is another very important factor. So when you're laying down your little grooves, let's see. Jack says the building phase when multi-track looping is also satisfying to watch because it gives them deconstruction. Yeah, that most folks only get with training. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's entertaining, But again, like whatever you play, take time to really develop something that is nice and pleasing to your ear. Again, speaking about Albert Rivera, I know that there's certain things I bring when I work with him because he has hipped me to sort of like what he likes about what I do or what he likes about a certain thing. And so I try to deliver that, And so having the right equipment is very important. And I know that a lot of people can't afford great equipment, and I would say that I'm definitely one of them. And but it's better to save your pennies, and like do without the $4 latte, and just save, and then get a decent axe. Because if you get I said, like, you get the right microphone, or you get a good looper, or you get a really nice guitar, or a killer keyboard, or the right saxophone, you'll have that forever and ever. And it's a tool for your trade, and you will make money with that tool. So it's not like, oh, look at the cool guitar I have. Well, yeah, it's a cool guitar, but more importantly, it's an awesome instrument, and it just sounds so good no matter what I plug into, no matter where I go, what I do. I always know that this guitar is going to sound really good, and that's super important. And it's the same thing with the pedals that I use. That instead of saving $5 or $10 or $100 or whatever, obviously you want to get the best deal you can, no doubt about it. I am like Mr. Deal, Mr. I got stuff on sale. That's me every day, all day, right? Always, watching where my money goes. But on the other hand, again, if you need a hammer, you got to get a hammer. Like, don't be hammering nails with a plier. It's not going to work out good. Get a good hammer, So I think that, that is sort of like being wise with your money and taking your career seriously, taking your playing seriously. And that doesn't mean, that doesn't mean that you have to be a professional musician to have proper equipment. I mean, just think of how many people make furniture as a hobby, or rebuild cars, or whatever they do, and you have to have the right tools to do that. And there's nothing wrong with not being a full-time guitar player and having like a really nice guitar that you can make music on. It's very satisfying and enjoyable. And always, these things are always well worth the investment. Say, for example, I got, I desperately needed money. I know that I could always sell this for a decent amount of money because it's a good instrument, as opposed to I saved money and I got like whatever, and then it's worth whatever, like it didn't serve you as good as the real thing. And then when you wanted to trade up or had to get rid of it, it didn't retain its value. Let's see here. Saving up for my VO mic has literally saved me days of cumulative time from just not having to clean up in post. Exactly. That's right. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good equipment, for recording, I use Logic. Is it like the absolute best out there? I don't know, but I know that, being a Mac guy, Logic is the next step up from GarageBand. And so for me, it was a smooth transition. I understand it. So many plugins, so much cool stuff that you could do with it. And it's a great tool. The money that I spent on that, every penny was worth it. I'm using it right now for this thing, And you could see that just the quality of, say, the video that you're watching. I'm using a mirrorless camera. Now, I got the cheapest one I could find, and I read 1 million reviews, and it was like the best one for the money. But it's a better camera than the one I'm using down here. This is not a bad camera. This is a really good webcam. It's a Logitech Brio. But my mirrorless camera, which is up here, is a Canon M200, I think. And again, not through the roof, but competitive with what's out there. If I'm going to be posting videos and doing lessons, doing live streams and doing all this stuff, and my sound is distorted and the picture is blurry, and it just, it's got to like sound great, it's got to look great, all that stuff on top of, playing good and, being entertaining and whatever, So, thanks. Thank you. Somebody just wrote and said, nice style, bro. Thanks. Wow, look at that name. Cool, man. Thank you. All right, yeah. So does anybody have any more questions or any questions about looping? Now would be a great time to ask me, and I'd be happy to demonstrate anything that you'd like. Again, with guitar, when you're talking about looping, I play a hybrid style where I do pick and fingers. So it's very natural for me to separate the bass and the chords, But you don't have to. I'd probably take off the octave thing, But say, you know, you could do something like, oh, sorry, let me erase that. Now you could hear that this is a lot louder than when I was doing the bass and the picking thing, because I'm actually strumming everything and I have the octave off, so my volume is a little more. So I would back this down a little bit, so this way I could hit the strumming a little harder and it would still work out. So here I'm going to do the same thing again with my volume backed off a little. I think that's a little better. Now if I wanted to, I could add a bass part now, right? So I'll add it here. So now I got the, you know, the bass, and if I wanted to add some kind of like rhythmic thing, let me see what I would add. This whole giant thing set up there, right? So again, I always go for like contrast, right? So say I got this busy thing happening here, right? Okay, so I might do something like this. Simple. Drop stuff out. So that's gone. Now I don't know if I can get rid of the bass. I'm going to see if I can get rid of the bass too. Let's see what happens. No, it actually brought the other thing back. Interesting. So I'm going to get rid of that. So now if I wanted to end it like I started it, I'd back down my volume and go back to the chords. Yeah. All right. So let's see. What do we got here? Are there any times where you'd use looping for multiple melodies, like a live counterpoint kind of thing? Absolutely. As opposed to filling out a rhythm section. Yes, without a doubt. One of the things that we do in La Pomp Attack, oops, there we go, La Pomp Attack. One of the things that we like to do is we do what I call the classical vibe, right? And so when we do the classical vibe, what we do is we're playing over the chord changes of a song, and we all play single notes. So it could be something like this. So say like a song like There Will Never Be Another You. Right? So say I wanted to do some kind of like classical thing, right? Let me try that again. there you go. You know, I don't know if that's really what you were thinking about, but there you go. Playing with yourself in public. Oh, but seriously, I love the counterpoint you create. Thanks. Yeah, so you could do that. Just go and sing a melody, sing another melody, and again, Cyril does a lot of that, where she'll sing like a part, she'll put a little harmony to it. Yeah, my poor theory-deprived brain is melting. Yeah. So again, and it's good that you bring up theory, because, in these COVID times with no gigs, suddenly everybody is a teacher, and, oh man, so, be careful about, what you sort of digest on the YouTube. And I would say this about theory. I happen to like music theory because I'm the guy that when I was a kid and I would get a toy, like say I'd get a car or whatever I got, the first thing I would get, I would take it apart and see how it worked. So for me, theory was a very natural thing to do. But the key thing here is taking it apart and seeing how it works, right? Like I would get the car and take it apart. It wouldn't be like I would get like a bunch of nuts and bolts and imagine a car. The car came first, and then I figured out what makes this car tick. So think of theory that way, that the music came first, and then we analyzed the music and saw like, what is it about the music that's so cool? What is it about this thing? Why does that sound happy? Oh, it's major. Oh, we call it major, And so, just, think of like how you learn language, that you learn to speak before you learn to read. And so think of music like that not having like book theory is not, it's not the end of the world. If you have a great ear, if you have a really good ear and you practice like crazy, you'll have your own theoretical ideas. It'll just come. Let's see, jazz theory book, jazz piano book again. That's great. George Porto said he saw Cyril use the looper. Yeah, she's great, and yep, trichotism. Yep. Yeah. So so the looper is another tool, and I would say enjoy it. Try it out, and again, before you go for the big investment, I always say test drive. Get with somebody, some friend somewhere that has a looper, and check it out. Go over to their house, and well, I mean, with COVID, it's kind of hard, but I guess when things clear up, or if you're both careful and socially distancing and stuff like that, or go to the Guitar Center, go, if you can during the week when there's like just nobody there, and ask if you can demo a looper. And I'm sure that they'll let you, and this way you could really try a couple of different ones and see which one really gets you. And also at the same time, of course, go online and see what's out there. I mean, for me, YouTube is my advanced degree network where I go for my learning almost every day on all different kinds of topics and stuff. And so I would advise that, again, if you're looking for a looper, just, loopers on YouTube, boom, there'll be like 8 billion people demonstrating them, and you really can start to get a feel. It's going to send me a link on Facebook. I've been practicing. Good. Ripped from the Mario Kart. Because of course I did. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I mean, so much of, all that stuff. I mean, there's a whole biz with that, right? That there's a whole business in songs for video games. Jack, I think you were doing that, right? Weren't you doing composition for video games, music for video games? That's like a legit income stream, which is very cool, very cool. All right. Any other questions? Going once, going twice, going thrice. And just to let you know, I do this every week. Every Wednesday, I do my shop talk live, and each week is a different topic. And I'm open to suggestions. I was thinking that next week I would like to, I can't decide if I want to do something on Finale or if I want to do something on Logic. And, so I'm thinking that maybe I'm going to do a composition thing on Logic, because I will talk about Finale when I'm using Logic. Finale is my preferred notation software. I also use Sibelius. I mean, I had to teach both of them at the college, so I'm good on both. But Finale is my thing, and so I think next year. Oh wow, Jack is currently shedding modular synth and chip tunes. Try to broaden my skills in a weird direction. Yeah, awesome. It's great. I think any kind of skills that you can pick up separates you from those who have no skills. But I think that next week, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do some kind of composition thing on Logic. And I'm going to show you different ways of composing and arranging. I would say that most jazz musicians are also composers, singer-songwriters. I mean, there's a lot of sort of composition going on. And it'll be fun to take a look at Logic. And we can write a song together. And I could show you, like I said, different approaches, writing a song from a drum loop, writing a song from a bass figure, writing a song from a chord progression, writing a song from a melody, writing a song from a genre. I'm going to write an R&B tune. I'm going to write a bebop tune. Writing a song from an emotion, sad song, happy song. So we'll do that. I think that's what we're going to do next Wednesday. And also, if you are not subscribed to my channel, if you look up over here, please subscribe to my channel on YouTube and ring the bell over there. Ring the bell. And when you ring the bell, then you can get notifications, and I'm posting stuff all the time. If you look above me over here is my website. If you go to my website, you can sign up for my mailing list, and I send out a newsletter every single week, and every week there's also a free download. So if you sign up for my newsletter, not only do you see what I'm doing, you also get a free download every single week, which is kind of cool. And also above me over here is my email. If you just want to contact me, I am available for private lessons. If you're into, I can do obviously guitar lessons and composing, arranging. I've had people study music theory with me. I mean, I've pretty much taught everything. Regular girl, thank you. And of course, my last pitch down on the bottom here on both sides of me are, if you do like this and you do want to help support my efforts in this new world, you could leave me a little tip, either by Venmo or PayPal. And again, you don't have to break the bank. Anything is welcome. The big thing is sort of like that consistency where I'm able to do these sort of virtual live gigs and kind of keep the oars in the water, So thank you. Thank you all for your support. And I think that's it. Another thing, Saturday, every Saturday I do a live stream performance. And this Saturday is going to be very special. It's going to be my good friend Ernie Pugliese on guitar, and Sir Michael Getz is going to be on the bass, and we're going to do a whole bunch of gypsy songs. Thanks, George. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, we're going to do a whole bunch of gypsy songs. It's going to be Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube and on Facebook. And that's it. So I hope you have a good rest of your week, and I hope that I see you all on Saturday. And until then, peace, be good, and I guess that's it. We'll see you.